Hello everyone, and welcome back to another coin roll hunting video. In today's video we're going to be searching through $300 in mixed coins, so let's get into it. Alright, so I went to the bank today and I asked them to get me some coins, and I was hoping I could get some half dollars, but they didn't end up having any. But they did have one roll of dollar coins, so I thought that I would take it and see what we can find. I've never hunted dollar coins before, so I think I'm just gonna open this on camera real quick, and then I'll go through and search through some things. I know that there's a lot of different varieties, and there's some NIFCs, so I thought I would just get this open and search through and see what I find. A customer wrap roll of dollar coins. And I know that different years, there's different years for different things. So like this is a Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, and then I know that there's the Sacagawea dollar coins, which is 2000 to 2008, the presidential dollars, which is 2007 to 2016, and also in 2020, and then the Native American dollars, which is 2009 to the present, and the innovation dollars, which is 2018 to the present. So I'll look through these. One thing I did want to say with these, let me see if I can find a good example. So like this one, if you look at this and you look closely, there's not a date on either side of the coin, and that's because the date happens to be written on the edge here. So in this case, the date is 2007D. So that makes it pretty hard to read these sometimes. I think that's a 7. Yeah. So that's why I'm not going to look through these all on camera, just because the lettering is on the edge of the coin, and that makes it really hard to read. So with some of these, like with the Sacagawea years, the date is right on the front, as you can see there. And same with the Susan B's, I think. Yeah. But with all the other ones, they're on the edge, so I thought that I'd tell you that. And anyways, I'll look through, and if I find anything, then I'll bring you back in, and if not, then we'll move on to the nickels. Alright, so I just decided to sort these out by the different kinds that they are. So right here we've got our Susan B's, and then we have our Sacagaweas, and then we have our presidential dollars here. And there weren't any Native American or innovation dollars, which is interesting. So now I'm going to search through them, and I know there's a thing where there's like position A and position B, and that has to do with the edge lettering. So like if the lettering is upright when the face of the coin is up, then that would be position A, but if it's upside down, then that would be position B. So I'm going to be looking for different things like that, and we'll see what I find. Alright, so I just finished looking through the dollar coins, and I didn't end up finding anything super special, but it still was pretty cool to search through a new denomination of coins. So I thought that we would move on to the nickels now, and hopefully we don't get just a bunch of 2022s and 2023s, because that's what happened in our last hunt. So I thought that we'd open these rolls together since there's only 5 of them. We can edge hunt. And the main thing that we look for when we edge hunt is silver war nickels, because they often have a darker color. So during World War II, so from 1942 to 1945, the government really needed nickel for the war effort, and so they made some nickels out of a 35% silver alloy. So we always hunt for those, because silver is really nice, and it's a cool piece of history. And we also look for any foreign coins, so I often get like a lot of Canadian nickels or pennies or whatever when I hunt. So we'll see if we find any of those, and those often, well, sometimes stand out. So like this right here, this is a dark edge, so I'm going to look at it. This looks like it's just really dirty though. Just a super dirty old nickel. Nothing super great there. But when we see those dark edges, we always want to check for silver when it comes to nickels. Also anything old, so like buffalo nickel or V nickel, we find those every once in a while in hunts. And I will be setting aside anything older than 1962, struggling with this roll a little bit. There we go. I'll be setting aside anything older than 1962 to look for some errors, because there's some errors in those years. Also, the 2020 W West Point minted nickel, super low mintage, so we probably wouldn't find it, but if we did, it would be super cool. Also, proof coins. I'm just going to look at this. I don't think it is, but yep, just a dirty nickel. Proof coins we look for. I've still yet to find a single proof coin. I know some people find a lot of them, but I just haven't found any in a roll. And also Henning Nickels, which is a type of counterfeit nickel. Let's see if I can open this last roll here. These are like super tightly wrapped compared to what I'm used to. There we go. Alright, and then I'll search through these, and if I find something, then I'll bring you back in to show you, and if not, then we'll move on to the quarters next. And let's look at this last dark nickel here. I think this is a current year, I can tell by the face. So just a ground target. Alright, I'll search through these and I'll bring you in if I find anything. Alright guys, you're not going to believe what I just found. I know I don't believe what I just found. I just moved aside this coin right here, and you can see slightly on the edge. I put it back so that we can reveal it on camera, but I was just going through. Most of these are 2022s, 2023s, or like 2018 or 17, something like that. But this one is a lot older than that, and it has a visible date. So, move this aside, and we have ourselves a V-nickel, a 1902 V-nickel. So this V-nickel is 122 years old. So let's see the reverse of this. An incredible find. I found one other V-nickel. I have it sitting over here. Let me pull it over. This is my other V-nickel. But the date is not fully visible, so I couldn't tell what it was, because it's just worn, because they're old coins. But that is just incredible. These are the kinds of things that keep me coin hunting. When I find something like this, like a V-nickel, so some piece of history that just is this old, like, that is the highlight of my hunt. So overall, this entire hunt, I don't care about the other denominations. This is a success, just one coin. Alright, so I didn't end up finding anything else with the nickels, so I thought that we'd move on to the quarters. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to search through these 5 rolls together, and if we find anything, then maybe we'll search through more on camera, but after that, then I'll go off camera. I've got 16 rolls of quarters, and I do have 4 of them are customer wrapped, but unlike the last hunt, they aren't marked, so that's a good sign. So to start things off, I do have this Washington Quarters book, 1965 to 87, and we do have just 2 book fillers left, just the 1953 and 54p, and then this book is filled, and then we'll continue searching for upgrades for it. And let's start getting into these rolls, and I'll talk a little bit about what we look for with quarters. So the main thing when we're doing edge hunting like this, when we're hunting quarters, that we look for is silver. So the silver quarters will have a bright white edge, and I'm yet to find a silver quarter. I found silver dimes, but never a silver quarter. So we'll see if we find one of those. That would be really cool. We also look for proof coins, which often have a thicker edge, foreign coins, which can look different on the edge sometimes. And after I search through these by edge hunting, we'll look for a lot of errors. Since there's so many different varieties of, or like types of quarters, there can be lots of different errors, so we'll look for some of those. Not seeing anything there. Also the 2019 and 2020 West Point minted quarter. And then, yeah, anything old. So for silver, anything 1964 and older is 90% silver. And so that would be pretty cool to find. And finding something like an old standing Liberty quarter or something like that would be pretty cool too. So those are the main things that we look for in our quarter hunts. So I mainly end up just finding different errors when I search for quarters, but some silver would be pretty cool to find. But let's see. I'm not seeing anything here, so we'll see. I'm gonna search through these, and if I notice anything, then I'll bring you back in. And if I end up finding a bunch, then, or finding silver in other rolls, then maybe we'll open some more rolls together. So I'll bring you back in a bit. I wanted to say, I just realized in the last clip that I did the wrong book fillers thing. So the 1953 and 54 is actually for my penny book. And so these are the two that I need for my quarter book, which is the 1968D and the 1969D. So there we go. All right, so I'm looking at this 2023 Bessie Coleman quarter here, and we have a little bit of a die chip error. So if you can see on the wing of this plane here, we've got a little die chip right there on the plane. Let me see if I can get this under here too. You can see that chip there, and when I put some shadow on it. And let me show you what it looks like without the die chip, so you can see that. So this is a different quarter here, and you can see right there on that lower bit of the wing that there's no die chip there. But if I bring this other one back, it's got just a little chip there. So if I end up finding some comps while I'm editing this video, I'll put them up, but we'll set that aside as a find. And then I did also want to show you, so over here, these, I've just been looking through coins, and these are the ones that I've left to look for errors, but I did find this, and this appears to be painted, and I know, I haven't ever seen a green one like this, but I've seen red ones, and I know that, like, sometimes if someone owned, like, a bowling alley or something like that, and they had, like, a jukebox or something like that, then they would have certain quarters that they would paint red, and or in this case green, and they would be like the house quarter. And then when someone went through and collected the coins, they would see if there was any red quarters in it, then they'd know that whoever owned the business was the one that put it in. So I think that that's what this is. So I sort of set it aside as a find. I mean, it's super worn. It's been used for sure, and the paint's mostly gone, but I think that that's what that is. So I'll set that aside as two finds up there. And then we also have, let me pull this up here. We also have here a book filler and an upgrade. So this is a bicentennial filly, and that's going to be an upgrade in our book. And this is a 1969D. That will be a book filler in our book. So anyways, I'll bring you back in if I find anything else with the quarters. And if not, then we'll move on to the dimes. Alright, so we're looking here at this 2023 Kanaka Ole quarter. And this just has a minor error as well. So I thought I would bring you in for it. But basically, you can see right there on the K in Kanaka that we have a little chip of some sort. And this is very common in the K and the A and the N down there to find chips. So if I can find a comp, then I'll put it up. But we'll set it aside as a find. Alright, so we're looking at this 2008 Arizona quarter. And I don't know if you can see that right here, but right here there's a pretty sizable die chip there covering up the maker's initials. So the maker's initials are usually in that spot. This is right below the big cactus on there. So let me show you. This is another one that doesn't have it. And you can see the initials JFM really clear right there. And then this one, it's all covered up. You can see it poking out a little bit, but it's fairly covered. So there you go. It's another error on the hunt. Alright, so I just finished the quarters, so I thought we'd do a little bit of a wrap up. So for our book, we did end up finding that 1969D book filler. So I thought I would just show you the book so you can see where it's at. So this is the only one that we're missing. And then I did find an upgrade for this one. It's a pretty nice bicentennial quarter. There's a little bit of glare on that, but anyways. And we have them all in here too. And not all of these are the best condition, but right now I'm just searching for the ones to fill the book, and then I'll look more for upgrades as I go after that. So I thought I would just show you the progress of the book. Next we have our finds. So we did find this this 1971 quarter here, and I think this is some sort of jukebox or arcade house quarter of sorts, like we talked about earlier. I've just never seen it in green before. I've only ever seen it in red. So I just set it aside. I thought it was cool. Then we have this Bessie Coleman with the die chip on the plane. I don't think you'll be able to see it very well, not under magnification, but that's one find. And then we have the Kanaka Ole with the break in the K there. You can kind of see that on the camera. And then we have the 2008 Arizona cactus, extra cactus error right on the maker's initials at the bottom there. So those are our finds for the quarters. So I'll set those aside along with our V nickel, and we'll get into the dimes. All right, so let's get into the dimes. So I have 19 rolls of dimes, so $95 worth of dimes, and 4 of them are customer wrapped, but they aren't marked, like I said earlier, with our quarters. So that's a good sign. It means sometimes other coin roll hunters will mark coin rolls that they wrap so that they know not to take them, and they know they've hunted them already. So it's a good sign that they're not marked, because that could mean that someone hasn't hunted them yet. So let's get into these rolls, and I'll talk a little bit about what I look for. So what we're doing right now is called edge hunting, where I open the roll and I just look at the edge of the coin. And the main thing that we search for that is our 90% silver dimes. So dimes that are 1964 and older are all 90% silver, just like quarters and just like half dollars too. Come on. I'm not going to open clean, that's okay. So yeah, we'll see if we find any silver. We didn't find any silver for our quarters, but we're again looking for that bright white edge. And I can't quite see this. I think this is a coppery edge. Yep, definitely it's a 2021, just extra shiny. But yeah, so silver is the main thing that we look for. There are a few errors that I look for, but not very many, just because dimes are so small and they're hard to look at. Also, proof dimes and foreign coins we look for. I don't know if I've ever found a foreign coin in a dime roll, but we still look for them. And also anything old, so like a Mercury dime would be super cool, and that's also silver. And also the 1996 West Point minted dime, which is just super low mintage. So I don't really think that we're going to find that, but you never know unless you look. So far I'm not seeing any silver. I actually have a silver dime over here, so after I get this roll open, I'll show you kind of what we're looking for in these edge hunts. If I can get them open. There we go. Let's see what we got in here. I'm not seeing anything there. Alright, let me grab this silver dime. So this is a silver dime, a 1964, 90% silver dime that I found in a previous coin roll hunt. And if you look at the edge of that, it is just really white, and there's no copper in the edge. So if I pick up one of these and put it next to it, you can see it's just a lot more gray. This one doesn't have as much of a copper edge. Let me see. One of these will have it. There we go. You can see that there. So you can see how the edge of this coin has coppery, is a little bit coppery on the edge on the right side. So if I were to stick this in this roll right here, there we go, and I pick this up. Oop. That didn't work too well. There we go. Alright, so you can see straight away when you look at that edge, you can see that silver coin right there. So that's basically what we're looking for, just that super white edge of the silver. And we look for them because silver is worth a lot more than the dime would be worth. So the silver is probably like $2 for a silver dime, something like that, in just melt value. So let's get this last roll opened up here. And then I'll go through all of them and I'll bring you back in if I find anything. Like I said, we got 19 rolls. I'm not going to edge hunt all of them unless I start finding a ton of silver or something. But yeah, I'll bring you back in when I find something. And then after this, we've got the penny rolls as well. Alright, I'm not seeing anything there, so I'll bring you back in a minute. Alright, so I thought I would share. I've got my huge pile of dimes spread out over here. I was edge hunting them all for silver and I didn't find any, unless I missed it, which is possible. But I thought I would show you this because this is the first 2024 coin that I have found. So we found ourselves a 2024 Denver minted dime. So nothing too special, but I just thought it was kind of cool. It's the first 2024 that I found this year. So I thought that I would share. Alright, so I just finished searching through the dimes and I didn't end up finding anything special besides that first 2024 dime that I've ever found this year. So I thought that we'd jump into the pennies. So to start things off for pennies, I have two penny books. This one is starting in 41 and this one is going to 2013. This one we only have two book fillers left and they're both wheat cents, so the 1953 and 54p. And this one we have just a few upgrades, so this book is already full, but we do have these two coins here and they're in not the best condition, so I'm looking for some upgrades for them. So let's get into these rolls. I think we're going to hunt through 5 of these rolls like we did for the other denominations. And then after we finish that, I will go through and search through them and set them aside for errors and things like that. So we'll edge hunt together here, and I'll talk a little about what I look for. So for pennies, the main thing that I tend to find with pennies is wheat cents, or wheaties, as some people call them, which is wheat cents are the cent before the Lincoln Memorial cent. And then after the Lincoln Memorial, there's a shield. So this is a shield cent reverse there, and this is a Lincoln Memorial cent reverse there. And the wheat cent has 2 wheat stalks on the back. It still has Lincoln on the front. So that's the main thing that I tend to find in these hunts. But we also sometimes find foreign coins like Canadian pennies, or I think I one time found like a Panama cent of some sort in a penny roll. We also look for things like steel pennies. So during World War II, one of the years in 1943, they made pennies out of steel. I have never found a steel penny in circulation, so that would be pretty cool to find. Anything old, so like an Indian head cent would be really cool, which is the cent before the Lincoln head cent. And with pennies, there's a lot of different errors, so I'll be searching for a lot of those. And I'm using, there's a YouTuber called Georgia Silver Hunter, and he has this coin mat for hunting pennies, so I'll be using that in this hunt to help me be able to set aside pennies to look for errors easier. So if you want, you can check that out. I'll leave the link in the description to his channel. But his coin checklist is really nice. So. Right. Let's see. So far, I'm not seeing anything special. With pennies, it's harder for edge hunting because there's not as much that stands out really clear. If there was like a steel penny or something, it might stand out, or certain kinds of foreign cents. But things like a wheat cent is not really going to stand out for edge hunting. But we'll see. Sometimes I can spot like Canadian cents and stuff because they're not always round. But I don't see anything here so far, so I'm going to search through these, and I have 20 rolls in total of pennies, so I'll search through them, and then we'll search through them for errors after that, and then I'll bring you in for a general wrap-up. Alright, so I just finished hunting through the pennies, and I didn't end up finding anything super special, other than I did find 2 2024 Denver minted pennies, so I thought I would set those aside since I did with the dime. So I thought we'd do a little bit of a general wrap up here. So I think the star of our show is definitely this 1902 V-nickel that we found. It's 122 years old, and I don't know, I'm just so happy that I found this. It makes the hunt totally worth it to find something this old that's just a piece of history. And this is the second V-nickel I've ever found, so it's super cool. And I'm glad that we can see the date on this one too. And then for the quarter hunt, we did find a couple book fillers, but then we also found this Arizona 2008 extra cactus air. You should be able to see that a little bit right down there at the bottom of the cactus. There's a tiny dye chip. The Kanaka Ole dye chip crack in the K, or whatever you want to call that, just messed up K. That's 2023. We also have this 2022, I think it is. Let me see. Nope, it is 2023. 2023 Bessie Coleman dye chip on the plane. There's a tiny dye chip on the plane's wing there. And then we found a jukebox quarter. That's what I think this is, because it's green. I usually find them they're red, but let me know what you think. I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. And then we found these three 2024s, which I thought was really interesting. They're all Denver minted, so I guess the Denver Mint has just reached my area with the new 2024 coins. We'll probably get the Phillies pretty soon too. I was surprised with this hunt that we didn't find any foreign coins, but I guess it just is how the hunt goes sometimes, and I feel like this was a pretty good hunt. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I try to make content like this doing coin roll hunts, as well as talking about the history of some of the coins in my coin collection. If you have any comments on this video, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I try to answer all the comments that I can, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.